Every morning at exactly 7:15, a black luxury sedan stopped outside the same small neighborhood diner in Chicago. The man who stepped out wore expensive suits, a quiet smile, and carried the weight of a billion-dollar empire on his shoulders. Yet no matter how much money he had, he always left the exact same tip, $10. Day after day. Month after month. Year after year. The waitress noticed it long ago. Some customers tipped less, others tipped far more. But this wealthy man never changed the amount. Not even on holidays. Not even after ordering a larger breakfast. She often wondered if there was a reason behind it. The answer, when she finally discovered it, would change both of their lives forever. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories. If heartfelt stories about kindness, hope, and second chances inspire you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Heartline Stories, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now let's begin. It was a cool October morning in Chicago. The leaves had begun to turn golden, and a light breeze carried the smell of fresh coffee through the streets. Emily tied her apron behind her back and looked around the nearly empty diner. She had worked there for almost 8 years. The pay wasn't great, but the regular customers felt like family. At exactly 7:15, the bell above the door rang. "Good morning, Mr. Carter," Emily said with a smile. "Morning, Emily," the man replied warmly. His real name was Daniel Carter, one of America's most successful businessmen. His technology company employed thousands of people across the country. Yet inside this small diner, he never acted like a billionaire. He waited patiently, thanked everyone, and treated every employee with respect. He always ordered the same breakfast. 2 scrambled eggs, whole wheat toast, black coffee, and fresh fruit. Emily placed his meal on the table. "Just the way you like it." "It always is," Daniel answered with a grateful smile. After breakfast, he quietly paid the bill, left a $10 tip beneath the receipt, wished everyone a good day, and disappeared back into the busy city. This routine continued every weekday. The cooks noticed it. The cashier noticed it. Even the customers noticed it. But no one ever asked why. Emily wanted to. Many times. Something always stopped her. Maybe it wasn't her place. Maybe there was a personal reason. Maybe she would never know. Months passed. Winter covered Chicago with snow. Spring brought flowers. Summer filled the diner with tourists. Still, every morning. The same breakfast. The same smile. The same $10 tip. Then one rainy Tuesday, everything changed. Daniel looked unusually tired. His eyes were red, and for the first time since Emily had known him, he barely touched his breakfast. As he stood to leave, Emily gathered her courage. "Mr. Carter?" He turned around. "Yes? I hope you don't mind me asking something." He smiled gently. "Go ahead." Emily hesitated. "I've always wondered, why do you leave exactly $10 every single morning? Not 9. Not 15. Always 10. Daniel looked down at the receipt in his hand. For several seconds, he didn't speak. Finally, he sat back down. "Do you have 5 minutes?" Emily nodded. Daniel stared out the rain-covered window. 24 years ago, I wasn't a billionaire. Emily listened quietly. I was broke. My wife had passed away from cancer. I had a 3-year-old daughter at home. Every dollar mattered. He paused. There were mornings when I skipped breakfast so she could have enough to eat. Emily felt tears forming in her eyes. One freezing morning, I came into this very diner. I had only enough money for a cup of coffee. Daniel smiled sadly. I looked exhausted. Hopeless. The waitress serving me noticed. Emily whispered, "Do you remember her name?" "Mary." He nodded. "I'll never forget her." Daniel continued. When I asked for the bill, I discovered someone had already paid for my breakfast. I asked Mary who had done it. She simply smiled and said, "A little kindness has a way of finding people who need it." Emily remained silent. I thanked her. But before I left, Daniel reached into his pocket. I only had $10 left. I tried to give it to Mary. She refused. I insisted. Finally she accepted it. But before I walked away, she said something I've carried with me every day since. One day you'll have more than enough. When that day comes, don't pay me back. Pass it on. Daniel looked around the diner. I built my company. I became wealthy. I could leave $100 every morning. 1,000 if I wanted. But I don't. Emily smiled softly. Because it's not about the money. Daniel nodded. It's about remembering who I was. And remembering Mary. The diner became completely silent. Even the cook had stopped working to listen. Emily wiped away a tear. I never knew. Almost no one does, Daniel answered. Is Mary still alive? Daniel lowered his eyes. No. She passed away many years ago. I never got the chance to thank her again. He stood up. So every morning, I leave the same $10. It's my promise that her kindness is still alive. Then he quietly walked out into the rain. Emily stood frozen. That night she couldn't stop thinking about his story. The next morning, she arrived early. She placed a small handwritten note beside Daniel's coffee. It read, "Mary would be proud of you." When Daniel arrived, he unfolded the note. For the first time anyone had ever seen. The billionaire cried. Not because of business. Not because of money. But because someone remembered the woman who had changed his life. The following week something unexpected happened. Several regular customers began leaving extra tips for the staff. One customer quietly paid for a struggling mother's breakfast. Another bought meals for 2 elderly veterans. No one announced it. No one asked for recognition. Kindness simply spread from one person to another. Months later, Daniel created a foundation in Mary's name. It helped single parents, struggling families, and students chasing impossible dreams. When reporters asked why he started it, he gave only one answer. Everything I built began with a breakfast I couldn't afford. Years later, Emily would tell new employees the story whenever they started working at the diner. She always finished with the same words. You never know what someone is carrying. A smile, a warm meal, or a simple act of kindness might become the reason they never give up. Because kindness isn't measured by the size of the gift. It's measured by the love behind it. Sometimes the smallest gesture becomes the beginning of someone else's greatest story. And when kindness is passed from one heart to another, it never truly ends. If this story touched your heart, remember that someone near you may be waiting for the kindness only you can give. A small act today could change a life tomorrow. Until next time, keep choosing compassion, keep believing in people, and keep spreading kindness. We'll see you again here on Heartline Stories.